The weather outside has indeed been frightful. Will the basketball inside be delightful? Stick around and find out. Big East hoops are next. 6-day layoff for one team, a 9-day layoff for the other. Today we're at the Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut, where the Quinnipiac Bobcats visit the UConn Huskies. And a very pleasant good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Ron Perry. Wherever you're watching, we hope you're warm, we hope you're dry, and most of all, we hope you're indoors. Ron, it will be the 1,087th game in Jim Calhoun's Hall of Fame coaching career, but this won't be an ordinary game because the guy on the other bench today is more like a son than an opposing coach.
That's right. It's Tommy Moore, who's now the head coach at Quinnipiac, and Tom has been Jim's assistant for the past 13 years, and so many pictures like this with Tom Moore right there next to Jim Calhoun. And today, of course, Tom will be at the helm for Quinnipiac after 13 successful years here at UConn. A lot of championships, a lot of great memories, and he was always at Jim Calhoun's side. And you look at that, 2 national championships, Bob, a lot of Big East championships. Got to be mixed emotions today.
And it is impossible for the two coaches to hide their affection for one another.
I learned everything that I am as a coach from him, and other than my dad, really. I mean, he's the second strongest role model, male role model I've ever had in my life.
He's brilliant on the court with the kids. They'll be great at Quinnipiac. He's destined for greatness, in my opinion.
And when UConn won national championships in 1999 and 2004, Tom Moore was right at Jim Calhoun's side. Final exams ended yesterday at UConn. What will the Huskies' grade be like on the court? The opening tip is out. Bob Picozzi and Ron Perry back in Hartford. Glad you've joined us. All set for the start of the 9th meeting between Quinnipiac and UConn. And Ron, in our Star Watch, each team has a guy who can take over a game.
Yeah, they really do. DeMario Anderson, go-to guy, leads the neck in scoring, and Dyson, 7 out of 8 games in double figures, both go-to guys in this ball game.
And checking the rest of the starting lineup for Quinnipiac, junior Brian Geffen scored 16 points last time out against Army. He leads the Northeast Conference in assists to turnover ratio. And for UConn, Hashim Thabit is second in the Big East in shot blocking. And last year against Quinnipiac, as a freshman, he blocked 7 shots in one game. And Ron, every coach will tell you that they fear the first game following the break for final exams, and they'll say candidly they have no idea what to expect out of their players.
No, when you've had a layoff like that, Bob, you want to make sure you come out fresh, but when you haven't had that live game, you don't know until you get there.
UConn has won all 8 meetings between the two, and by far the closest of the 8 a year ago. It was opening night. And with 2:34 remaining in the game, Quinnipiac, who trailed 35-16 at halftime, cut the lead to 2. But UConn held the Bobcats scoreless for the rest of the game and emerged with a 7-point squeaker. There's DeMario Anderson, transfer from Central Connecticut, and he is a bona fide scorer, averaging 19.5 points per game. He'll be a handful for UConn.
He really will be. And Bob, that game last year is the kind of tempo that Quinnipiac would like today in the 50s. Try to ball control and play zone. They've got to do a job on the boards. UConn bigger, stronger. They'll be pounding the offensive glass today.
Hashim Thabit will jump center for UConn. And it looks like doing the honors for Quinnipiac will be Lewis Brookins. Reggie Greenwood will toss the ball between them. He's working the game with Joe Lindsay and Bill Laubenstein. A less than large crowd at the Civic Center today. Quite understandable. We had a ice storm overnight in Connecticut. The road conditions are less than ideal, and we applaud the folks that made their way to the Civic Center. For those of you at home, sit back, pull up a comfortable chair in front of the fireplace, and hope you enjoyed the game.
Stay nice and warm. It's kind of bitter and cold out there today. Quinnipiac opening in a 2-3 zone. Try to invite the outside jumper.
And there it is. Dyson on the miss, and on a hop with rebound, Anderson. Here comes Cosgrove, the point guard. His dad, James, is the coach at Adelphi, and bumping into him is Dyson, and that will be the first foul of the day and Jim Calhoun's first substitution of the day. 28 seconds into the game, Jerome Dyson is replaced by Doug Wiggins.
Well, it doesn't take long. Quick message, get yourself where you should be. Dyson, of course, has been playing very well.
And off his first career double-double run against Northeastern, the final game before the break. And off the inbound, Ruddy missed the layup with the left.
Got to get that one to go if you're Quinnipiac.
Wiggins gives to Adrian, looking down low for Thabit. Since Tom Tom Moore is a Jim Calhoun disciple. He believes strongly in playing man-to-man, but not today. They very likely will play 40 minutes of 2-3 zone. Ron, it's really Quinnipiac's best chance to keep this close.
Timeout. Yeah, it really is, Bob, because the zone with the smaller front line will give Quinnipiac a chance to try to push UConn out. And Jim Calhoun calling that first time out because he's saying we're standing around a lot here on offense.
Now, Tom Moore, of course, is the head coach at Quinnipiac. One of his assistants is one of the great players in UConn history. I don't suppose you remember this pass, do you?
Pass to Chris Smith, but he's standing right. Here goes the long pass with 1 second to go. The shot. Yes! The shot.
In UConn lore, it's known as the shot, but it could have been the pass. Tate George hitting the shot at the buzzer to beat Clemson in the Sweet 16 in 1990 off a 75-foot inbound pass from that young man, Scott Burrell, in his first year as an assistant coach at Quinnipiac.
How sweet that footage is when you're a UConn fan to see that basket go in, and Scott Burrell now on the bench having to transfer those skills to his players.
The way he threw that pass, he could have been a pitcher. Oh, wait a minute, he was. He was a first-round draft pick as a pitcher out of high school.
Pretty good arm. Good guy to take that one out of bounds.
Shot clock at 7, Price for 3. So far, with 2 possessions, UConn has not been able to penetrate that 2-3 zone, which had everything to do with that timeout. I was at UConn practice yesterday, Ron, and the Huskies worked about 90 minutes of the 2 hours against the 2-3 zone.
Well, you know, it's invited 2 long jump shots, and for Quinnipiac, they've rebounded out of that. It's the right strategy, because otherwise, man for man, they're giving up 3-4 inches, if not more, with to beat inside.
Anderson being defended by Stanley Robinson, and will shoot over him. And Quinnipiac draws first blood.
I think it's really important for Quinnipiac, the underdog in this game, to get off to a good start and then try to stay patient. That basket helps.
Wiggins inside the three-point line. So the Huskies have attempted 2 threes, missed them both, and they nailed their first 2.
Well, Doug Wiggins has been a real spark off the bench this year. He does a good job from the outside, and he comes off a game where he did not score against Northeastern, so good start for him.
0 for 4 against those Huskies, and Robinson with his 15th block shot of the year. He's 8th in the Big East in that category.
He's got a 5-inch height advantage in that matchup, and he's got the long arms. Great timing on that one. UConn always at, or they've been at the top in terms of block shots, right, last 6 years.
And they lead the country in block shots this year. They had 9 in their last game against Northeastern. UConn with a 2-3 zone out of the inbound pass beneath their own basket. That is standard procedure for UConn. Air ball on the jumper by Brookins. Here's Price, right side Wiggins. Wide open look, instead down low to Sabit. He's bumped by Ruddy, but it will be, who are we getting here? Oh, they're going to get Ruddy. The way Bill Laubenstein pointed, I thought we were going the other way. So instead, it's the first foul of the day on the Bobcats, who enter with a record of 4-4. Wiggins, catch and shoot. He's got all 5 of UConn's points.
Hey, Wiggins comes in for Dyson on that quick substitution. He's making the most of his early minutes.
Cosgrove defended by Wiggins. Each a sophomore. Mario Anderson.
Tight man-to-man by the Huskies. Their trademark, holding teams to 36% shooting this year,
which is 11th in the country in that category. Geffen to Cosgrove, down low. Adrian went for the ball. That's what you call weak side help, huh? Wiggins unable to save the ball as he went right up and over the press table.
Well, you can really gamble when you know you've got a guy like Tabit in the back, and the 7'3" sophomore does the job right there. The only thing he didn't do was keep that ball in play. He's getting better and better with each game. You see his shot blocking prowess with that graphic.
Meanwhile, the shot clock is inside 10. Not a good idea to throw the ball off the inbound in the backcourt with such little time left on the possession clock. Anderson beats the clock barely, but the offensive rebound by Ruddy. And another offensive rebound before Thabit comes away.
Got to come down with that and go back up. Anderson had it, but he didn't come down with it. Oh, this is a deflection and steal.
Steal by Geffen. He has Anderson to his left. Pull up in the lane. Rebound, Robinson tried for it with one hand. That didn't work. Still loose, and coming away with it is DeMario Anderson. Cosgrove for 3. Rebound inside Adrian, and we're going to get a foul on the rebound on Lewis Brookins, his first, and number 2 on the Bobcats.
Good looks for Quinnipiac. They've got to just gather themselves for the shots. They're getting the opportunities, but rushing the shots just a bit.
So far, Tom Moore's club out-rebounding UConn 6-3. And now Jim Calhoun will insert freshman Donnell Beverly. This is certainly the earliest Beverly has ever found himself in a game. 3:35 into the game, he replaces Wiggins.
A lot of loose balls not going UConn's way, and Jim Calhoun moving the players around as Quinnipiac sits in that zone. Should be opportunities from the wings and corners, but you've got to split and get shots like that one.
That's the way you penetrate and beat the zone. Stanley Robinson. Quinnipiac has taken 9 shots and has made only 1.
Had some good looks too. They've rushed some shots. You've got to use the up fake inside as well, rather than just rushing those shots.
Geffen, transfer from Boston University, had to sit out a year ago. Played 52 games for the BU Terriers, averaged 3 per game. Now on the switch, being guarded by the 7'3" Thabit. Boy, he has an awkward delivery, doesn't he?
Yeah, he didn't seem to have his feet under him on that one. They went kind of out to the sides on him.
Beverly to Robinson. Robinson to Price for 3. Long rebound to Beverly. Puts it on the floor. And the putback. It's only the 4th and 5th points of his career. He's only played 17 minutes in the first 8 games of the year. This is a 9-0 UConn run.
Yeah, he's bringing some high energy to the floor right now. The defense really picking it up for UConn, man-to-man style. Not much inside. Quinnipiac needs to make the most of their jumpers.
Anderson on the curl, took advantage of the Brookings screen.
And he's the real deal. He's averaging just under 20 a game.
Inside Adrian, it's blocked from behind by Anderson, but he got a piece of his arm as well. Number 1 on Anderson, number 3 on the team. UConn has won 61 straight games against in-state opponents. Well, there's a couple that have seen just a few UConn games over the year, Gert and Sam Burrell. The proud parents of former UConn Husky and now Quinnipiac assistant coach Scott Burrell. And Ron, Scott Burrell was not only one of the greatest athletes, one of the 2 or 3 greatest athletes in UConn history, but one of the greatest athletes in the state of Connecticut history. Imagine being good enough to be drafted in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft and to be drafted in the first round in the NBA, and he enjoyed an 8-year NBA career, even played on an NBA championship team. Michael Jordan helped Scott Burrell win the Bulls 6th championship.
I'll tell you what, that's impressive, and great athlete, great kid. He's been a great alum of UConn, and you look at those numbers too, pretty impressive when you look at the points and the rebounds, but now transferring those skills to the bench at Quinnipiac. So just a real quality kid all the way around.
Had a chance to visit with him at Quinnipiac practice on Friday. He's enjoying the coaching very much. He says the best part about it is teaching young and impressionable players and seeing how what you are teaching them is put into place and seeing how the team has made progress in their individual developments over the years. So Tom Moore is delighted to be able to hire Scott in his first year as the head coach of Quinnipiac. Baseline Cosgrove, kick out Geffen, wide open 3. Rebound in traffic, Thabit.
Got to make those shots if you're Quinnipiac. Wide open, nice penetration that time by Cosgrove.
Dyson back in, Adrian juggled the pass. And Moore a trip to the free throw line.
That's exactly what Tom Moore is trying to avoid today, those inside post plays, but with the height that they've got out there right now with Adrian and Thabit and Stanley Robinson, tough to keep those guys out of the paint area.
Second foul on Brookings, 4 on the team. Adrian has struggled from the line, only a 61.3% shooter. And the struggles continue. Substitution Quinnipiac, Ruddy back in the game, and Brookings will have to sit out with 2 fouls. And one thing Quinnipiac is not, Ron, and that is deep.
No, they're not going to be able to get in foul trouble, but they're going to have to work an 8-man rotation. And of course, with Evan Baker out today, their freshman guard makes them even thinner.
Baker out with a hip pointer. Twice this year already. He's been named the Northeast Conference Rookie of the Week.
Good pressure by UConn, 2-2-1, and one of the things Quinnipiac's done is about 19 turnovers a game. Need to take care of it today.
DeMario Anderson misses the shot. Rebound pulled down by Beverly. Has Robinson ahead on the right. Look at this, 6'9", he gets 5'8". Rebound inside Robinson. Adrian with the offensive rebound. UConn had 3 close-in shots there.
Controlling the offensive glass. We said that was a big issue today.
The jumper is good by Cosgrove. He's 10th in the Northeast Conference in 3-pointers. That was his 17th of the year. And we're going to get a foul underneath called on the Bobcats. That one will be on Ruddy. and that's his second. So we mentioned that Quinnipiac is not deep, and now they're two big guys, Ron, each with 2 fouls, Ruddy and Brookins. And checking into the lineup will be Zajac, 6'9" freshman, who prepped a year at Cheshire Academy, which is located about 10 minutes from the Quinnipiac campus. Also, James Feldine, number 14, is checked in. And the inbound pass goes right into Feldine's lap. Feldine will wait for help. 34, Carl Anderson is in. He has the most experience on the Bobcats roster, 5th-year senior.
Otherwise, a pretty young team for Quinnipiac. You've got DeMario Anderson, and then you've got some pretty youthful players in the backcourt and guys that are getting a lot of valuable experience this year.
Cosgrove, back-to-back 3-pointers, and we're tied at 10.
He had a 16-point game against Binghamton and made a couple of big ones right there for the Bobcats.
33, Gavin Edwards in for UConn. Great ball fake by Price, and someone pushed Edwards in the back. That is going to be team foul number 6 on the Bobcats already. It's going to be called on Casey Cosgrove. It is his first. There's a look at Tom Moore, and chatting with Tom the other day, he said of Jim Calhoun, the most important lesson I learned was how to handle players. He taught me you can't treat freshmen the same way you treat seniors. And he said that Jim Calhoun is a master at knowing that you do treat people. You can't. It's nice theory as Price hits the runner. It's a nice theory. He says, well, you got to treat everyone the same.
Right.
And he said also, lesson 101 in coaching, which he learned from that man, is make sure you're always on the same page as your star player.
Good advice.
Here's Dyson out of the backcourt. Price back to Dyson. They have Beverly on the wing. Good ball movement against the zone on this possession. Rebound pulled down by DeMario Anderson, and Edwards with the reach-in foul. His first and only number 2 on UConn.
Yeah, DeMario Anderson just under 6 rebounds a game, too. He does it all for the Bobcats, and he's stepping in right now at 6'4", playing much bigger than that on the boards.
Anderson played 2 years at Central Connecticut. Those are his numbers this year. He was the 10th leading scorer in this league as a sophomore 3 years ago at Central Connecticut. Transferred, spent a year as a student but did not play at the Globe Institute of Technology, and then came to Quinnipiac, where he played last year and again this year, and one Anderson threw it away, attempted for the other Anderson.
Got to have your hands ready. That was a pretty good dish that time. Tom Moore saying, hey, encouraging all the time. He's up and at him. Team right in the ball game early here, just down by 2.
Price. Robinson looking inside.
Foul line area looks very open where Edwards is now. You've got to get touches in there to split the defense.
And they've yet to do that in this possession. Instead, they settle for the 3. Thabit with the putback.
Just a towering presence in there. Thabit getting better and better with the touch inside.
Foul on Zajac, his first 7 on the team.
It was a pretty good effort boxing out there, but he's just got so much height. DeMario Anderson tried to get him, but Thabit kept it up high. Look at his numbers. He's finishing, and he's blocking shots and shooting the ball very well. He's really improved from the foul line.
I think they got Geffen for that foul as he was trying to clear Thabit out of the lane, which is a bit of a challenge when you're 5'11" and the other guy's 7'3". So UConn out to a 3-point lead. Quinnipiac is hanging in there, but they are in big-time foul trouble. Cosgrove tripped up, and Dyson is ahead of everybody. So Gavin Edwards combining on the steal. Biggest lead of the game for UConn, and another steal, and Dyson nearly got another basket, but he will earn a trip to the line. Instead, Geffen gets his second foul. A.J. Price scored only 3 points last time out against Northeastern. Good body control on this one. It's UConn by 7. Fans and club pros, it's not too early to start thinking about the 2008 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to ESPNGolf.com to sign up your course as a host or to find a local qualifier site in your area. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome. Out of the timeout, Jerome Dyson at the free throw line for the Huskies. He is their most accurate free throw shooter at 75%. Now, Ron, when you play, you, of course, outstanding career at Holy Cross. You were a guard. You spent 4 years guarding guards. Did you ever guard anyone who seems to relish contact as much as this young man.
Now, Dyson really likes to mix it up and bang around. I think I played against a lot of guys like that. I can't say I was necessarily looking for that out there, though. I like going to the line. Played against guys like Dyson. No.
Dyson,
he's a warrior.
He initiates contact when he has the ball in his hand.
And there's certain guys you played against. We said, all right, we're in for a battle here, and Dyson would be one of those guys. He's quick and athletic, so.
I wonder what Casey Cosgrove's thinking right now. He's 5'8", and he's being guarded by 6'9" Stanley Robinson in this possession. And Robinson intercepted the outlet pass thrown by Carl Anderson.
Shows you how athletic Robinson is.
The pull-up over Cosgrove.
How's that for an exchange to steal and then the finish at the other end? Robinson really looks like he's coming of age.
11-0 UConn run. They had a 10-0 run earlier in the game, so they've scored nearly all their points in those 2 runs, and they've opened up an 11-point lead. Carl Anderson to 14 Feldine. Cosgrove's already got a couple of threes. Long rebound to Dyson. Up the floor, Robinson. Now, handling the ball in the open floor is not Robinson's strength. Dyson with the drop step. Rebound kept alive, and Edwards with the loose change. And Tom Moore is hot at his own team. Timeout. He does not like the lack of effort demonstrated on that defensive possession.
Got to do a better job than this. You've got to come down with it. You got possession, hold on to it. That's just holding on to the ball. Zajac, the freshman, just doesn't protect right there. And Tom Moore saying, hey guys, you're up against a quick athletic team. Protect, hold on to the ball. We cannot have those kinds of easy turnovers turning into baskets.
Tom Moore told me that when we got the job, we want to be known for our defense and our toughness. He felt that Quinnipiac was more noted for being an offensive team in recent years past under Joe DeSantis, and he felt that in order to compete for a title in the Northeast Conference, the route to go, and of course has everything to do with who he spent the last 13 years with, Calhoun, but he wants to make the transition into a defensive-oriented team.
Well, I think if you defend, you're in games, and if you're just trying to outscore opponents, you're going to be in for the long haul. So you started off with solid D, and that makes up for the nights when some of the shots are not going down for you.
Now, having said that, there are 11 teams in the NEC, and Quinnipiac leads the league in scoring offense and is 10th in scoring defense, but it's early in the season.
Just working the program.
Quinnipiac hasn't scored a point for nearly 5 minutes. Shot clock inside 10.
Getting nothing but long jumpers, Bob. It's very tough to get inside.
Carl Anderson off the nice penetration by Cosgrove.
Key thing there was the penetration for a much better look.
Wiggins, quick catch and shoot again. Doug Wiggins, there's the beat flying through the lane. You got to go back up with it, don't you?
Yeah, it's right there. I thought he was right there, never looked at the hoop.
You're 7-3, you get an offensive rebound. Don't look to pass. Feldine with the drive.
She's one of Quinnipiac's better, goals going right to the basket.
Wiggins, ball fake, another wide open look. Rebound inside to Feldine.
Tom Moore saying, hey, let's be patient, guys. That's pretty good. Now let's work it a bit. Try to keep the tempo under control. UConn can score points in bunches.
Pass nearly deflected by Thabit. Quinnipiac hasn't played since last Sunday when they scored the last 8 points of the game to beat Army at West Point by 4. They outscored the Cadets bench 27-10. Wiggins on the bump, his first, only the 3rd team foul on UConn. We are at the Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut, the 3rd of 9 games UConn will play here this year. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Ron Perry. Glad you've joined us on this snowy Sunday in New England. It's UConn and Quinnipiac. Casey Cosgrove has just knocked down his 3rd three-pointer of the first half. He has scored 9 of the Bobcats' 17 points.
Those are big baskets, keeping Quinnipiac right around in this game as UConn continues to try to find that seam, the foul line, looking inside that time.
Geffen with the reach-in foul. Number 2 on him. Quinnipiac over the limit. In fact, they've already committed 9 fouls. Edwards, Robinson back in for UConn, replacing Thabit and Wiggins. And to the free throw line will go Jeff Adrian. And Jim Calhoun said after practice yesterday that it was the best practice that Jeff Adrian has turned in his 2+ seasons at UConn. He liked the energy that he demonstrated.
Yeah, George Blaney said the same thing to me before the game, said he was relentless. No, finish a play and slow down. There's George Blaney on the bench, and he was absolutely non-stop, which is what they're looking for.
He's already got 6 rebounds in the first 11 minutes. In UConn's last game before the break for final exams against Northeastern, George Blaney coached the team the last 6 minutes when Jim Calhoun got tossed after being whistled for his second technical foul of that game. Of course, he has a little bit of experience, George Blaney, in that department. As you well know, he's your coach for 4 years at Holy Cross.
22 years at the Cross. I was there for 4 of them.
Ruddy lost the handle, and the shot clock expires. So a terrific defensive set for the Huskies, and the 5th turnover for the Bobcats. They are 10th in the 11-team NEC in turnover margin. You've got to turn that around when they get into league play.
Absolutely. You've got to be better with the ball. That's kind of a sign of youth. And that's a mental mistake when you just don't get a shot off. Also, a credit to the UConn man-to-man defense.
Price trying to carefully penetrate the zone. Reversal to Dyson. Robinson down low. Boy, that was like a clinic. Just like it's diagrammed, huh?
Really was. Ball movement, swing it, get the layup. That's the way you attack a zone.
UConn by 8. Cosgrove defended by Price.
UConn really dominating in the paint. They're 12-0 advantage in this ballgame, which we thought they would with the height.
Boy, they're really making Anderson work for his shots, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're all over him. He's a 20-point guy. They are defending him tough.
And the runner by Price. So UConn has opened up its first or its second double-digit lead of the game. Now it's 10.
A.J. Price, I think he could still be the guy that will just make this team go. He's had a couple of his best games against Memphis and Gonzaga and losses, 20-plus point games. Just needs to be consistent game in, game out.
Anderson lost the handle. The up and under move. My goodness.
Wow. Acrobatic. What a finish.
In diving events, they have degree of difficulty. What was the degree of difficulty on that one? He split the 2 defenders, dropped the ball down to shin level practically, and Robinson buries the 3.
Looking better and better, Bob. You can just see kind of a star emerging in a Stanley Robinson. All the tools starting to look more and more comfortable out there.
UConn is dead last in the Big East and 309th in the country in 3-pointers. That was only their 38th of the year. DeMario Anderson drew the contact. He'll be called for his 3rd foul.
That's a tough one right there. I think that could have been a play on.
So Quinnipiac in big-time foul trouble. Their best player will have to sit down. 11-point UConn lead. And Ron, how's this for a weird combination stat? Quinnipiac, who's made 3 3-pointers today, 10th in their league in 3-pointers made, 2nd in their league in 3-point percentage.
Well, they tend to make them when they take them, so take some more, boys. Casey Cosgrove made 3 of them in the first half, helping keep the Bobcats in this ballgame.
Cosgrove has 19 3-pointers this year, so Quinnipiac as a team has only made 52. He's made 19 of them. Beverly back in for the Huskies. We saw him earlier in the half. Robinson looking inside for Adrian. They can't get it to him. Now they get it to him on the low block, and he goes right around Carl Anderson. And the foul! Wow! He saved some of that energy from practice yesterday and brought it with him today.
Oh, man.
How about the move? Look at this move as he goes around Carl Anderson.
Beautiful drop step. I like the way he just kept finishing that thing and sent it down.
And the foul will be on Carl Anderson. And Adrian will try to complete the 3-point play. Preseason nominee for the John Wooden Award and a preseason All-Big East selection entering this his junior year.
That release and rhythm from the line was his best effort. It went down, but he looked really smooth. He's been struggling from the line. Great finish. Man-to-man by UConn. And right now, they're looking very, very tough against Quinnipiac in this one.
Biggest lead of the half for the Huskies right now at 14 inside the 6-minute mark.
This is where Quinnipiac has to hold on, get a good set. They need a hoop right here.
Cosgrove goes baseline, leaves for Carl Anderson. Rebound, I think we're going to get a push in the back by Ruddy, and that's his 3rd. And Tom Moore is running out of people.
Yeah, the fouls are really mounting, and this is a tough one for Tom Moore's club. If you're undersized, games being called closely, and your guys are picking up all these fouls. He's sitting over there saying, hey, let's see if we can get a couple going the other way as well.
Third personal foul on what, 18?
Two shots.
And at the free throw line will go Adrian once again.
2 free throws.
UConn is 6-2. The 2 losses, both to nationally ranked teams. They lost to Memphis when they were ranked 3rd in the country. That was in the finals of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Very competitive game for UConn. Memphis threatened to blow them out early. UConn came all the way back and hung in there. And then they lost in a real close one in Boston to 19th ranked Gonzaga. And that's the game, Ron, that Jim Calhoun felt his club should have won. That they had a chance to win by making plays down the stretch, but it was Gonzaga that made the plays instead. And as Jim put it, he said the season has not been off to the start we were hoping for, but it doesn't mean the season can't have the ending that we're hoping for.
Well, a coach of his caliber always looking for more, some positive signs, but not gelling, you know, in the kind of fashion he would hope for. But his expectations are high.
Casey Cosgrove has drained 4 3-pointers. He's now scored 12 of his team's 22 points. Robinson will be whistled for the offensive foul.
A little out of control that time by Robinson, but Cosgrove, 5'8", has really found the range and kept the Bobcats hanging around in this one. Nothing but net again. 4 threes.
A year ago as a freshman, Cosgrove scored just 3 points against the Huskies. And he's already knocked down 12 today.
From Andover, Mass, and he can shoot it. He's the point guard for the club. And
coach's kid. Dad James is the coach at Adelphi.
Fundamentally sound.
Geffen behind the back. I think they could have done with a little more straightforward pass that time. Price hands to Dyson. Throws up the 3. Long rebound pulled down by Robinson, who has trouble controlling and finally does, and then fires with 31 seconds left in the shot clock. Good thing for him to went in, huh?
That's one of those. No. All right, get back, Stanley.
Shot.
Way to go.
9 points. Gelf, Feldine at the other end. Rebound, Adrian, his 8th. Dyson with the hesitation move. Last touch by Cosgrove, so UConn will inbound. Still 31 to shoot for the Huskies. And Tom Moore now going 9 players deep. Steve Robinson, sophomore from New York City, he's only played 9 minutes all year, goes in the game. He's running out of choices. He only has 10 players healthy. And 2 of them are on the bench with 3 fouls, a third on the bench with 2 fouls. So actually Brookins is playing with 2 fouls.
That was a good example where I thought Quinnipiac just shot too quickly, and all of a sudden you're in that up and down tempo.
The right, Wiggins. Back up top to Dyson as we hit the 4-minute mark. Price with the pull-up, knocks it down.
That's what he can do. He's got to look for it, opens up the passing lane that much more. Very assertive move there by Price. Needs to do more of that.
16-point lead for the Huskies. Cosgrove penetrates and dishes to Robinson. Misses the 3 badly. Adrian with his 9th rebound of the first half. On the break, Dyson with the finish.
Oh, that was a clinic. Run the break, fill the lane. Nicely done by UConn.
Jim Calhoun encouraging his team to show some enthusiasm at the defensive end.
Well, that was a quick break, Bob. That's how explosive UConn can be when they defend and get out and run.
Feldine to Cosgrove. Played by Dyson. And he'll throw up the deep 3 and rebound Price. Here's a 4-on-2 if they hurry. Dyson's got the beat with him. And another timeout.
All UConn right now. This is the kind of explosiveness that you want to try to avoid if you're Quinnipiac, but the pace up and down a little bit right now, and that's why you've got the timeout.
UConn is shooting 57% from the floor in the first 17 minutes. This is the way you run the break.
Look at that. That could have even been up higher to him, but to be the catch, the finish, great break.
Well, it would be tough to throw it over his head, wouldn't it? It'd be real tough.
Absolutely.
Jim Calhoun, who was clearly not very pleased the last time we saw him, when he was tossed from the Northeastern game. Wasn't pleased at all with the effort that night. He said yesterday, I feel much better about the team now than I did after either the Gonzaga game or the Northeastern game. What I am seeing is more enthusiasm.
He likes it.
2-12 run.
Right? I mean, you think about Jim Calhoun, you cut through everything. It's intensity, it's focus. I mean, that's what he brings to every game, and he wants to see that defensively, and he wants to see good shots at the offensive end.
Out of the Quinnipiac timeout. Feldine guarded by Price. This is Robinson. Cosgrove defended by Wiggins. Low block Brookins. Feldine with the jumper. Great box out by Adrian. There's his 10th rebound in the first half.
Big half.
Price has Dyson left. Instead, he goes right to Wiggins.
Look at that zone block right now. The arms are down. You've got to get your arms up when you're in the zone D.
Rebound Cosgrove at the 2:20 mark.
Look like numbers, but look how quickly UConn recovered with their team speed.
Quinnipiac getting out-rebounded 23-11. Wow. Turnover number 8 for the Bobcats. Wiggins, the trailer, to Adrian.
Oh, with the left hand that time.
7 points, 10 rebounds in the first half for Jeff Adrian, who was a second-team All-Big East selection last year as a sophomore.
I think it was partially blocked, Bob.
Robinson leads for Zajac. Here we go. No one's home. It's a 2-0. Look out.
Whoa. We're talking highlight reel now with some of these dunks. They're very unselfish by Wiggins to give it up. So Dyson can get up just a little bit too, Bob.
Oh, you think?
Wow.
On the right, Robinson. With 1:20 to go in the half. Down low, Zajac. Head fake. That didn't work. Second block shot of the game for Thabine, and his 24th of the year. He's second in the category. Adrian throws it down, and so does Dyson. Which one did you like the most? I think I like that one. Hasn't been a very pleasant week for UConn junior Craig Autry. He wasn't feeling well the other night. Went to the infirmary and then was actually hospitalized with a slight case of pneumonia. He's feeling better this week, but certainly not ready to go back and play basketball. He doesn't have the strength or the stamina to do that, but he's on the mend. But it hasn't been, plus it's finals week, on top of everything else. My goodness.
You got the exams, you're trying to play some ball, you get kind of run down, and fortunately he is on the road to recovery.
So he will not play today. Maybe he'll be ready a week from today when UConn comes back to host Maine, which will be next up for the Huskies. Coming up at halftime, we will have our Oppenheimer coaching profile, and it will be that man's former assistant, Tom Moore. We'll take a look at some of the big January matchups in college basketball, which you will see on ESPNU. And also, Ron and I will take a look at first half highlights. It's been a very good first half for UConn, Ron.
Yeah, they really have played well defensively, and the running game's been there as well.
Feldine with a miss. Rebound number 11 for Adrian.
And UConn just dominated the boards, Bob, and just controlled the pace.
Adrian was the second leading rebounder in the Big East last year. He's not even in the top 10 this year. Today'll help. Rebound, another one by Adrian off the Dyson miss, but we're going to get a foul on UConn. Let's see, who is it going to be on? Is it going to be on Adrian or Edwards? Gavin Edwards is second, only number 5 on Jim Calhoun's club. Checking in is to be. You know, Ron, Jim Calhoun, not the easiest guy in the world to play for. He obviously, you make a mistake, he'll take somebody, put somebody in the game in a hurry. He's an in-your-face coach, and he says, look, I've told the kids I'll meet you halfway. You give me more enthusiasm, a little more discipline, and I'll back off a little bit. Here you go. He liked the week of practice they had.
He demands a lot, but he gets a lot, you know, and he's clear with the players with what he wants out there.
Great look inside from Cosgrove to Brookins. Shot clock is off. UConn will play for 1.
Cosgrove's really done a nice job for the Bobcats first half.
12 points, all on three-pointers, a couple of assists. Game clock down to 3. Wiggins. Ball was partially deflected, I believe, by Geffen. So UConn had a 9-0 run. They had an 11-0 run. They shot 56% from the floor. They out-rebounded Quinnipiac 24-15. The return for Scott Burrell and Tom Moore to the Hartford Civic Center, not quite what they had envisioned. They find their Quinnipiac team trailing by 22, and what a monster half for Jeff Adrian. He had 11 rebounds, and Jerome Dyson helped as well. UConn by 22. Well, among the hearty crowd that made the trip here to the Hartford Civic Center, Tom Moore's family. All the way to the right, his wife Eileen, and there's the Moore brood: Elizabeth Rose, Catherine Grace, and Carolyn Mary. They still make their home in Tallinn, sitting right in front of Scott Burrell's parents, who we showed you earlier today, Gert and Sam Burrell. They'd like to see a little bit closer score on the scoreboard. They look like they're enjoying themselves.
Having a good time. They know Dad will be a little happier if he comes home and the team plays better in the second half, though.
And they literally come home to host Dartmouth on Wednesday night at 7 at the magnificent state-of-the-art TD Bank North Center. Robinson got another block shot there.
UConn does that so well, really taking away the inside game for the Bobcats today.
5th block shot of the game for UConn, who leads the country in block shots again this year. Adrian drop step, can't finish. Rebound Stanley Robinson, and he'll draw a foul. I believe it's on Brookins. We began the day by telling you that each team has a guy in our Star Watch who can take over a game. This is what they've done so far today.
Now you can see DeMario has had a tough time. Anderson, for the Bobcats, he got in some foul trouble, and Dyson's been very consistent in what's been a balanced UConn attack here today.
3rd foul on Brookins, and 1st on Quinnipiac here in the second half. Quinnipiac 2-2 on the road this year. Came away with a win over Army last Sunday. Then they too had a layoff for final exams.
Robinson in double figures again. He continues to impress me, Bob, with his touch, his athleticism. And at 6'9", he can really do it all out there. He just needs to keep getting the minutes and playing better and better. Jim Calhoun's system.
Robinson with 11 points today, so he's in double figures for the 6th time this year, 9th time in his career. Carl Anderson, who gets the start in the second half. Cosgrove, another 3, no good. Rebound Geffen, and a reset for Quinnipiac. But instead, cross court to Dyson. Look out! Look out! It's got to be a little demoralizing.
Jerome Dyson.
Dyson's had a couple of those. I'd have to say that one in the first half, my favorite. That's a close second, though.
Even how about Thabit? How about the one with Thabit, where he caught it around his waist and brought it up and over that head? Cosgrove to DeMario Anderson, fights the double team. Cosgrove to Brookins, wasn't ready. Wasn't ready for it.
Not ready, and a bounce pass would have been probably better than a one-handed kind of whip pass there. But the Quinnipiac to stay composed, get a couple of stops, and slow it down on offense.
Turnover number 11 for the Bobcats from Hamden, Connecticut, just north of New Haven. Down low, Adrian missed the easy one. Rebound Carl Anderson, and Brookins evidently got hit in the face. And your old buddy, you went to high school, didn't you, with Bill Laubenstein?
You bet I did. Bill Laubenstein, officiating crew here today. Back in 1976. I can't believe it's been that long. We were in West Roxbury today, together at Catholic Memorial High School.
And he noticed that Brookins was in a bit of discomfort after taking a shot in the face, and Bill blew the whistle. Jim Calhoun inducted into, there's Bill Laubenstein right now. What do you think he's lobbying for, other than the next call, obviously?
Even though the Quinnipiac player looked hurt on the play, Jim was probably saying he thought his guys got hurt on the play and held up. But they were in agreement, but I'm not sure they were by the time that conversation was over.
No. No, definitely not. Continued going up the floor, and Bill had the last word, by the way. The guy with the whistle had the last word. He always does.
10-2 with the striped shirt.
Cosgrove to Anderson. Defended by Thabit. On the left, DeMario Anderson, and he is pushed as he put the ball on the floor. Foul will be on Robinson. His second. And that'll be the first one on UConn here in the second half. Next up for the Huskies will be Maine next Saturday at 1 here at the Civic Center. Another teacher versus pupil matchup. Maine coach Ted Woodward, also a Jim Calhoun assistant. Nice touch in the lane by DeMario.
Like the up fake as well. And you know, Quinnipiac undersized really hasn't been able to get Connecticut in any kind of foul difficulty here. They've had a tough time going inside and drawing fouls.
8 points for DeMario Anderson. He's averaging 19.5. Adrian put it on the floor. It's still loose. Wild scramble, and coming away with it is Ruddy.
Good hustle all the way around.
Geffen, and nearly stolen by Dyson, who deflects it into the Quinnipiac bench. So 5 more days off for UConn, then the main game. Then they'll visit Central Florida, who has a brand new arena. They're in Conference USA. Then the Big East opener, January 3rd. Seton Hall playing in a brand new arena in downtown Newark, the Prudential Center, the home of the New Jersey Devils, and the new home of the Seton Hall Pirates. DeMario Anderson with Robinson's hand in his face, and it certainly affected that.
That's a tough matchup for him. Robinson, 5 inches tall, with a long reach, and he's quick to boot.
Dyson, wide open look. He barely leaves his feet when he takes a 3 when it's uncontested.
I'll tell you what, he gathered himself beautifully there. Set, got great rotation. He's a guy that can put those 3s up. We said UConn not a big 3-point shooting team in the first half. He can do it, though.
Dyson missed his first 5 3-pointers of the game. That was his first made 3-pointer. Rebound, Ruddy. Cosgrove gets it back to Ruddy at the baseline. This time Dyson comes away. He has Adrian ahead of him. Changes directions. And lays it high off the glass. Wow.
That was impressive.
15 points for Dyson. Big East all-rookie team member a year ago.
Really playing consistent basketball. 8, that'll make it 8 out of 9 games in double figures for Jerome Dyson.
Blocking foul on Robinson, his third 2 in the team. Gavin Edwards will come back in for the Huskies, replacing Sabit. So Quinnipiac will inbound baseline. Wiggins also will come in. Quinnipiac 0-12 in its history against Big East teams. 8 of those 12 losses to UConn, and 1 each to Notre Dame, Seton Hall, St. John's, and Syracuse. This is only Quinnipiac's 10th season in Division I, and all 10 have been spent in the Northeast Conference. Cosgrove looking. He'll throw it out toward midcourt, and Dyson deflects it, and he's ahead of everyone.
Oh, nice save
for Wiggins. Oh, what a play by Dyson.
That is sweet. The steal, the anticipation, and then that nice little drop pass or touch pass for the lay-in.
24 UConn points off 12 Bobcats turnovers. So the lead is up to 31. It was 24 at the half. He played 4 minutes second half. Cosgrove is bumped by Edwards. Foul number 3 on Edwards, 3 on the team. So let's count the positive things Ron that Dyson did. Well, there's one of them. Then hustling is 2, having the presence of mind to find a teammate 3. And he doesn't even get the basket. Not fair. Well, Ron, last time out, Jerome Dyson had his first career double-double, 16 points, 10 rebounds against Northeastern, and he has done a little bit of everything this afternoon so far.
Yeah, he really has. He's defended, he shot the ball, and just explosive quickness on the drive on that one. The steal.
Coming right at you.
The hustle. How about the save right there for the lay-in? Well done.
Off the inbound, a lay-in by Ruddy. So Quinnipiac drew something in the huddle and converted. It always makes a coach feel good. Wiggins down low. Adrian wants to work at the much smaller DeMario Anderson, who gets the rebound. Walk it across. Pull up. And the rebound pulled down by Sabit. His 5th. Sabit, the 10th leading rebounder in the Big East, 8.9 per game, leads UConn in that category. At the foul line, boy, he looks so much more comfortable with the ball in his hands this year, doesn't he?
Yeah, catching it, Bob. He's moving well, finishing inside by keeping the ball up high, and I think it's reflected in his numbers. Better than 10 a game.
And as we saw in our open, looks like he knows what to do with the foot with the ball. He played some soccer in his native Tanzania.
Absolutely.
Dyson, another one of those virtual flat-footed threes. He's got 18.
Making it look easy here this afternoon.
Dyson certainly, out of all those new players on UConn's team last year, he certainly had the best year of the group.
No doubt. He
Didn't
was
necessarily
consistent.
arrive with the best credentials. That probably would have been Robinson. He was a Grade Magazine All-American out of Birmingham. Anderson with the runner in the lane. Carl Anderson nearly got the rebound. And Dyson comes away limping, and to add insult to injury, add a foul to his total. His second. Full 4 on the team.
Holding that left hip area too, Bob, which is where he was banged up a couple weeks ago.
Right. Banged up right before Thanksgiving.
The hip pointer.
No, they played on a Tuesday night before Thanksgiving against Florida A&M, and I happened to see him at the airport the next day. I said, how's the hip? He said, tell you the truth, it's killing me. I'm glad we don't have a game for another 6 days. And when they did, he was ready to go. Actually, it was the Gardner-Webb game, and then he was back to the Florida A&M game Monday after Thanksgiving. Inside Ruddy created the contact, but forgot to make the shot.
Wow, everything but the make on that one. He cleared out.
Price to Dyson. Wiggins explodes along the baseline and finds the beat.
That was a nice exchange of passing, and the more UConn does that, the better they become offensively.
UConn has 15 assists on his 25 field goals. Double dribble Quinnipiac. Turnover number 13 for the Bobcats. Look at the pretty feed inside to get the easy shot on this possession.
Now you move the ball and you just find the open man. You get nice high percentage shots. Here's the beat with the catch, Bob, and he kept that ball up high with the finish, which he's doing much, much better this year.
Janelle Beverly, number 2, the freshman from Hawthorne, California. Back in the lineup for UConn. Dyson again with the flat-footed 3. Long rebound. I don't know how much that hip's killing him. He just exploded going for the offensive rebound. But he's going to be called for the reach-in foul. And that will be his 3rd and number 5 on Jim Calhoun's club. UConn picked 6th in the Big East in the preseason poll, as Dyson will lead with 18 points. Georgetown and Louisville were tied for number 1 in the Big East poll. Louisville's probably going to drop out of the top 25 when the rankings come out tomorrow. They lost on the road to Purdue yesterday. Cardinals were number 20 going into that game. Big shocker in the Big East, Ron, last night was DePaul losing at home to UIC, the University of Illinois Chicago.
Yeah, that was a shocker. I saw that one early.
St. John's losing at home to Niagara. Cosgrove looking for his 5th 3 of the ball game.
Quick release on that one from downtown.
Well, Quinnipiac has 10 players in uniform. 9 of them have no 3-pointers, and then the 10th guy, Cosgrove's got 5 of them. Wiggins is going to try a 3. Long rebound baseline Beverly, and a great feed from Wiggins to Adrian, and Ruddy hammered it.
If you're going to be successful, though, for UConn, they've got to have Adrian and Thabit giving them production inside. So good work. They're always good offensive rebounding-wise. Check it out. Keeping it alive. And then the good look inside. Adrian has camped at the foul line. That's what he does. Just works hard under the basket.
4th foul on Ruddy. Only 2 on Quinnipiac this half. And that will send Adrian to the line. So Adrian, so far in the ball game today, now has a double-double with 10 points and 13 rebounds. As Tom Moore gives some instructions to his freshman Ruddy from Newburgh, New York. Last year against Quinnipiac, Adrian had a career-high 16 rebounds. So 4th double-double of the year for Adrian and the 20th of his career. So far today, 10 points and 13 rebounds.
He works hard. He really goes after the rebounds, and that's number 1 for him every game. Hit the backboards at both ends.
Catch and shoot. Brookins baseline tipped up by Zajac. I think Zajac will be called for being over the back on that rebound.
Officials have called this one pretty tightly from the beginning, and that's also hurt the undersized Bobcats. They've had foul difficulties against the taller, quicker UConn Huskies all afternoon.
Getting out rebounded by UConn 33-24. Both teams are number 1 in their conferences in rebounding margin. Down low, Adrian. Spins. Pretty move, went right around Brookins.
Another nice half-court set by the Huskies. Swung the ball, got it inside, so they've got good inside-out balance going on right now.
12 points and 13 rebounds for Adrian. Mario Anderson, guarded by Beverly. Here's Cosgrove. Nice look inside to Zajac. Did Adrian get a piece of that?
I don't think so, but he really discouraged the shot.
Thabit, that one off his head. We saw him bounce the ball off his head in warm-ups, but he was trying to do it that time.
Accidental on that one.
Demario Anderson, nice ball fake. Gets the open look in the lane.
You can see where Anderson's going to put some big points up in the Northeast Conference this year. He's athletic, and he can really finish with a nice-looking jumper.
He's got 10, so he's been in double figures all 9 times this year. At a season-high 29 against Maine, and that is UConn's next opponent, the Black Bears. Nice anticipation by Feldine results in the steal. Cosgrove to Demario Anderson. Nice look inside of Zajac, and then I was going to say Thabit sent it into the cheerleaders, but it went way over the heads of the cheerleaders. Jeff Adrian has played against Quinnipiac and has a couple of double-doubles the last 2 years against the Bobcats. Quinnipiac playing shorthanded today. There's highly regarded freshman Evan Baker, who's out with a hip pointer, suffered it last week against Maine. He has been absolutely terrific, Ron, early in his career. Twice named the conference Rookie of the Week. And he had a 25.7 rebound game against New Hampshire. He took 9 shots that day, and he made all 9.
That was impressive. I'll tell you what, the freshman's really looking good. Unfortunately, banged up and couldn't be out there today for Quinnipiac.
Mario Anderson lost the handle, and then as he tried to get it back, he's going to be whistled for his 4th foul.
Tough one. Bob Baker, when we talk about him too, just a freshman. He's got that hip pointer and some good-looking young players. He recruited to Quinnipiac, and that was one of the real strengths of Tom Moore as an assistant at UConn.
Number 14, Curtis Kelly in the lineup for the Huskies. He gets the ball from Dyson. Up top, Beverly. Great ball movement against the zone on this possession. Wow.
And then when you do that, Bob, you get good shots, and the chances go way up as they get the result from Wiggins.
Well, as I said, they worked on it for about 90 minutes yesterday at Gamble Pavilion, recognizing that that's what they were going to see today. You think these two coaches know each other pretty well?
A little bit.
Jim Calhoun
I'd
knew
say so.
that Tom Moore knew that they couldn't play man against his team.
I thought it was a good game plan. I thought Quinnipiac got a lot of good shots early in this game.
Right.
Just couldn't convert them and got way behind. And then you're susceptible to UConn's runs and getting dominated inside, which is really what's happened. And the foul trouble hasn't helped either.
Tom Moore said, we want to lower our field goal defense and make that a staple of our program. Right now, they are entering the game at 42.9%. UConn, of course, year in, year out among the nation's leaders in field goal defense. And right now, the Huskies at 36.3. 3rd in the Big East, 11th in the country. That's where Quinnipiac would like to be someday.
That's right, and UConn just defends you so hard, and they're athletic and quick. Just 33 points in the ball game today for Quinnipiac. Little turnover there by Edwards.
Turnover number 8 for the Huskies.
But they're giving Quinnipiac, UConn is giving them nothing inside today. There's one.
Nice feed. Carl Anderson to Brookins.
Maybe the first easy layup they've had all afternoon.
Quinnipiac is shooting with that basket. They're 15 for 51 from the floor, 29.4%.
Well, contested shots, a lot of jumpers.
UConn's doing a great job of getting the ball down to the baseline against the zone, except this time Edwards would be called for the charge. And Edwards has certainly gotten his money's worth today. He's picked up 4 fouls in his brief tours of duty, so he'll sit down. Edwards, sophomore from Gilbert, Arizona, right outside Phoenix.
That could have been a cameo on that last one. That was a tough 4th for him.
Steve Robinson, number 30, back in for Quinnipiac. Outlet pass nearly stolen by Price.
2-3 zone by the Huskies. So active and quick. Got to catch and shoot. There's just no time for hesitation.
Cosgrove really extended on that 3. Great hustle by Quinnipiac. Took the rebound away from Stanley Robinson. Cosgrove with another miss, and now we're going to get a rebound foul. This is going to be on Brookins. If so, it's his 4th. So 4 on Brookins, 4 on Ruddy, and 4 on Demario Anderson. Scott Burrell doesn't have any eligibility left, does he?
I don't know. Tom Moore would like to put him in the game. I know that.
So both Brookins and Demario Anderson will sit down. Still 8:40 remaining. Quinnipiac picked 5th in the Northeast Conference preseason poll. Sacred Heart picked to win it. And another 3. for Dyson, his third three of the half. So Dyson now has a season-high 21 points. Second 20-point game of the season for the sophomore from Rockville, Maryland.
Making it look easy today.
Carl Anderson with a nice catch and shoot from the foul line.
He'll be a plus for Quinnipiac as well. Anderson back out there. He missed the first several games this year with a leg injury.
Jeff Adrian with a couple more inside. He's got 14. Ball deflected. This will bring us to a timeout. UConn well on its way to a 7-2 start. Big lead over Tom Moore's Quinnipiac team. Bob Picozzi and Ron Perry back in Hartford. Let's take a look at our select stats, brought to you by Select Sector Spiders, and the Huskies really having their way off the break and off the offensive boards.
Now they've controlled the backboards, they've run, they've finished, they've really balanced the attack. They've dominated inside play. It's been a very good effort by UConn today. They had a good week of practice, and they've really converted here today.
UConn sticking with the 2-3 zone. Cosgrove penetrates nicely. Tried to get it inside to Ruddy. Adrian nearly took it away. Feldine from the wing. Rebound last touch by UConn, and Feldine picks up the loose change.
Nice follow.
Feldine, a sophomore from New York City. He had a huge game earlier this season against the Hartford Hawks. Career high 19 points, career high 10 rebounds. On the left, Robinson. He's going to hoist the three. Way up in the air for the rebound is Feldine. Inside the 7-minute mark. UConn by 34. Right side, Feldine. Back out top to Cosgrove.
Good chance to work some different defenses. The man-to-man, the zone here. Nice rejection again.
Fourth block shot of the afternoon for Thabit. Rebound kept alive. Dyson tried. Boy, Dyson, he's going to come up wincing again. Inside Carl Anderson, but he'll be called for the shove off. Number 2 on Carl Anderson and 5 on the team. Check out the block by Thabit here. Quick off his feet, isn't he?
He really is, and he keeps his feet nicely. Timing's outstanding. And even shots that he doesn't block, like that second one by Ruddy, totally changed it with his arm up. He's 7'3" and really a presence in there.
8th block shot of the game for UConn. 4 blocks today. Thabit has 26 this year. He's second in the Big East. Dyson's already knocked down 3 threes in the second half. Rebound DeMario Anderson, his 8th. He's back in with the 4 fouls. Feldine for 3. Rebound Robinson, lost the handle. Adrian with the good hustle gets it back. At the 6-minute mark, it's Price. Price was named to the Coaches versus Cancer All-Tournament team. Was the most valuable player of the Stores Regional for that event. UConn made it all the way to the finals, losing to a very good Memphis team who's now ranked number 2 in the country. Robinson, left side jumper. He's got 13. We're at the Civic Center in downtown Hartford, Connecticut, where UConn is 190-73 over the years. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Ron Perry. UConn leading Quinnipiac by 36, about to beat the Bobcats for the 9th time in 9 career meetings. Off the miss inside scramble. Ruddy tries to keep it alive. Last touch by UConn, I believe. Bill Laubenstein and Joe Lindsay will have a little discussion. And what's the verdict? Looks like it will come back to UConn.
Come back, come back!
Dyson enjoying a laugh with Bill Loudon. No, it's going to go to Quinnipiac. It's going to go to Quinnipiac.
I thought I saw it that way, too. Wasn't sure after a little meeting of the minds.
So Cosgrove to inbound. Looking, nothing available in the lane. A year ago, Quinnipiac finished 3rd in the Northeast Conference. That was their best finish in their first 9 years in the league. Dyson nearly got the steal. Winds up at the Bobcats bench. And we'll go back to Quinnipiac.
Now, UConn's defense has just been swarming here again on Quinnipiac today.
They held Quinnipiac to 28% shooting, 27%. Cosgrove penetrates the zone, leaves for DeMario Anderson. The runner. And the rebound kept alive by Zajac. Back to DeMario Anderson, and Adrian with the Huskies' 9th block shot of the game. But Quinnipiac picks up the basket anyway. Good hustle there by Ruddy.
Yeah, nice dish by Cosgrove. He's done a good job out there, Cosgrove at point today.
Robinson for 3. Long rebound, Zajac. He was the conference rookie of the week earlier in the season after a 17-point, 15-rebound game against Clemson. Foul on Price. Golf fans and club pros, it's not too early to start thinking about the 2008 ESPN National Golf Challenge. Log on to ESPNGolf.com to sign up your course as a host or to find a local qualifying site in your area. Be a part of the search for America's best twosome. Thought America's best twosome these days would be Tom Brady and Randy Moss.
I'll say they've connected a lot this year.
Although struggling today. New York Jets trailing by only 7 with 6 minutes to go in Foxborough.
Big surprise.
On a cold and very windy day in Foxborough. Price off the missed free throw. The pull-up jumper. Can't knock it down. Gets his own rebound. Leaves to Robinson, who will do a reset.
Not a bad idea. If you don't like what you have, just set it up again and run your offense.
UConn won its first 3 games before the loss to Memphis. And won 2 more before the loss to Gonzaga. Dyson now with 23 points.
Well, that was a nice, just kind of rhythm jump shot. Hard to his left, stop and pop.
8 for 16 from the floor. Sophomore. Feldine for 3. Ruddy goes up over Edwards for the rebound. And then I believe he was fouled by Stanley Robinson. That will be his 4th. And that will be the 9th team foul for UConn here in the second half. It's been all Huskies. They lead it by 3 dozen. Let's take a look now at a game-changing performance, and it's brought to you, Ron, by Pontiac.
Well, there have been a few of them in this game. Some hard drives by UConn. There's Adrian with the stuff. A few of them in this game. Look at Dyson. What a game he's had. Outside and inside. Couple of monster jams. Game-changing performances by a couple of the Huskies.
23 points for Dyson. To the free throw line will go Feldine with 3:47 remaining. Knocks the first one down. Last time Quinnipiac played here was December 30th, 2005, and UConn won that one 111-75. The average margin of victory for UConn in its 8 wins in this series, and there have been 8 meetings, has been 30. And that's, Ron, even with the 7-point margin of victory, by far the closest a year ago. Tom Moore's club would pretty much has experienced what Joe DeSantis did each time that they went against UConn other than last year's meeting. Tom Moore says, we analyzed their team in the offseason. We decided we're pretty much middle of the road in every area, shooting, rebounding, and defense. So we have to make up for that through execution. Robinson to Kelly, juggled it. Shot clock inside 10. Beverly goes around the Edwards screen. Leaves for Wiggins, back to Beverly. Shot clock at 1, and it didn't get to the rim. So that'll be a shot clock violation. Quinnipiac president John Leahy, and he had a dream of making Quinnipiac into a Division I athletic program, and the dream realized when they opened last January the magnificent TD Bank North Sports Center. 185,000 square foot facility, seats 3,500. It is a basketball and hockey facility only. Mario Anderson with the miss, rebound Wiggins, and frankly, Ron, the reason Tom Moore took the job, because he's had other job offers when he was at UConn, was he felt he could win there, and the reason why he felt he could win was because of the facility.
And the recruitment that brings, of course. So, sounds like a beautiful on-campus.
It is gorgeous. I was there the other day, and not only for hockey, and it's a separate, within the arena, there's a hockey arena, and there's the basketball court. But the only ones who play there are the men's and women's basketball teams and the hockey team. All the offices and locker rooms and strength and conditioning areas for those 3 teams are in that building.
Shows the commitment to the program. Stanley Robinson beats the clock on that one.
Robinson is 15. It also, by the way, offers a spectacular view from downtown New Haven. You have to go up a spiraling driveway to get to the facility. It's really quite nice. And I know the UConn folks who attended Tom Moore's news conference when he was named the coach last March, they were blown away by the facility. Impressed by it. Demario Anderson going along. You think that was the plan? Let's pass to the guy who's on the seat of his pants and see if he can catch it.
Unbelievable.
He did. And there he is, Cosgrove.
Cosgrove, man on the spot that time. Nice catch.
And here come the walk-ons for the first time this year.
That's the 5th personal foul on number 33,
Gavin Edwards has fouled out of the ball game, so he departs with 4 points and 1 rebound. Carl Anderson will go to the line. And Edwards leaves, and he's replaced by number 45, John Lindner. 6'5", 265-pound freshman from Cheshire, Connecticut. Don't you think his heart is beating just a little bit faster as he steps onto the floor for the first time in a UConn uniform?
Get the game opportunity, get out there and play with the bright lights on. You work hard in practice all the time. There's John getting that opportunity as a walk-on.
That's right. They don't get to sit around and watch it practice. They have to practice also. And not only that, they have to guard the scholarship players who generally have a little more talent than they do. Also checking into the game, number 55, Kyle Bailey, freshman from Lancaster, New Hampshire, and number 35, Alex Hornat, a sophomore from nearby South Windsor, Connecticut. All of them making their collegiate debuts in the final 2 minutes of this one. Wiggins and Kelly on the floor with them. Wiggins lobs it to Lindner. Kick out, Bailey for the shot. That would have been a dream come true, huh? Hornat with his first rebound. You always tell the scholarship players, they're the ones without their names on the backs of the uniform. Kelly lays it up and in. The walkout try.
Had a good look on that one. Kelly with the nice finish.
So as we approach the 1 minute mark, Quinnipiac will get ready for a home date with Dartmouth on Wednesday. Wiggins with the steal. Lindner ahead to Bailey, but it will be stolen by Zajac. Here's Steve Robinson, the runner.
Kissed that one off the glass, huh?
So Robinson with his first points of the season. Here's Wiggins to Hornat. Back up top to Wiggins. Inside Lindner. Ball fake. Has a shot blocked, but he's fouled. He'll go to the line and get a chance to enter his name into the record books in the scoring column.
Second personal foul on Zajac.
Second foul on Zajac, and there's a look at John Lindner.
45, John Lindner. Shooting 2.
One more chance. You can always hear the crowd pulling for him, and then the players on the bench are always laughing at them.
Hoping, though, you can get in the box score.
Sure.
Bingo.
There he is. John Lindner has now entered the annals of UConn basketball history with his first career point. Half minute remaining. So, Ron, you have to be impressed by what UConn did today. Obviously, the quality of competition today is not quite what it will be in the Big East, but the Huskies certainly played much better this time than they did, Jim Calhoun's did last time out before the break for final exams against Northeastern.
Now, they played well. They played hard today. The defense has been very impressive, and I think, you know, Jim Calhoun was hoping the practice would be good this past week. It was. And they have converted out here today on a team basis with good balance and really dominated this game.
Faldine knocks it down, and the shot clock is off with UConn up by 43, and you're certainly not going to see UConn attempt another shot. Not when Tom Moore and Scott Burrell are on the other bench, Ron, right?
No, it's just this one's over. Solid effort. Teacher and pupil here today, and it was really a good effort by UConn all the way around.
And I'll tell you what, these games are not easy for either of these men. They have such an affection for one another. You heard what Tom Moore said before the game. He said that Jim Calhoun is the second most important male role model figure in his life, second only to his dad. And Jim Calhoun also told us before the game that he considers these games sort of no-win situations. Obviously, he always wants his team to win, but that means that someone he cares very much about, their team will lose. And you can see also the affection for the UConn players, because Tom Moore recruited every single one of those guys. A hug for Curtis Kelly, and then the walk-ons and Craig Austrie, who missed the game with a case of pneumonia. So UConn out-rebounds Quinnipiac 42-37. It was much more one-sided than that for most of the ball game. They get 23 points for Dyson, 12 points and 14 rebounds for Adrian. And Ron Perry is standing by with Jim Calhoun. Ron?
Well, Jim, you had a game here today against one of your former proteges. Not an easy game for you, but your kids certainly played very well.
I thought, and you and I have talked about before the game, matter of fact, and a couple times about this, that we haven't shown enough energy. And even against teams that we have superior talent to, we haven't shown that energy. I thought there were points in the first half when we put the pressure on full court, and once we get to a 25-point lead, we took it off, obviously. But I thought the pressure really was good. I thought we worked on zone some, and I thought we were really active in the zone, and we ran pretty well. So overall, you know, I don't think we played a great game. What I thought we did, we played an energized game, and that's obviously the first step for us to be good.
Yeah, well, there's always a little bit of a worry when you have a layoff before a game like this. Your kids practice well, but it looked like they converted defensively, rebounding-wise, and played hard today.
Yeah, I really, if we put forward this effort, continue to get better, make a few more foul shots. Jeff was great, just couldn't make a foul shot. We had a 20-point game. But bottom line is I'm happy with it's a step forward, even though, yes, we're better than Tommy's team at this point, but we played better than Tommy's team, and that was the most important thing.
Looked like you had some good ball movement out there today, too. You practiced against the zone. You saw it. And both your inside-out play looked like it was working pretty well.
It's the best we've moved it all year. I'll be very honest with you. We're 7-2, and including Gonzaga or Memphis, it's the best we've moved the basketball all year. And so, I'm coming away with this one feeling, that we made some progress, and that's what you really want to do.
All right, well, best of luck. You've got some tough games before league play. Keep it going.
Thanks, Ronnie.
All right, Jim Calhoun. Nice job, Jim. The UConn Huskies with an impressive win here today. We'll be back with more after this.
For the 62nd consecutive time, UConn has defeated an opponent from the state of Connecticut. That's a streak which goes all the way back to a loss to Hartford on December 29th, 1986. Final 82-49 over Quinnipiac. Leading the way for the Huskies, Jerome Dyson with 23 points. He's with Ron Perry.
Now, Jerome, your team really had it going well in this game, and it had to seem a little bit different when you looked at the other ball club you were playing, say Quinnipiac, and to see Tom Moore, who's been the assistant here for so long, sitting on the other bench.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's just something that we were going through our practice, knowing that we had to come back here and face on our assistant coaches. He basically knew all our plays, and they basically ran all the plays that we ran, so it was good homecoming for him.
Well, I guess at that point it comes down to execution. You knew you were probably going to see a fair amount of zone today. You did, and it looked like your team really moved the ball well, and you in particular really seemed to have your shot going today.
Yeah, that's what we were practicing in practice, is just making sure that we get the ball moving in the zone before we took any outside shots, and we had to get it inside before the ball can even get shot from the three. So coach is just making us go over and over that all day in practice.
You came out of the game early in this one with about 25 seconds in, but I'll tell you what, you had one of your best games out there, your best game offensively here this afternoon.
Yeah, Coach didn't like that quick three that I put up there, and then that quick foul that I had, so pulled me out and talked to me a little bit, and I just had to come back in and play a little smarter.
Defensively is always one of the consistent aspects of UConn's game, and you made it very difficult for Quinnipiac, and it seems like every game your team works hard on the defensive end, but you also mix up some zone with the man-to-man today.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we were able to do last year, is our defense, and we were just allowed to keep a low percentage for the other team, and this year we were kind of struggling a little bit, but today we showed that we can play some defense and keep teams out the middle.
Well, hopefully you'll keep doing that defense, converting on the offensive end, and winning ball games. Nice game, Jerome.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Outstanding performance by Jerome Dyson. Back to you, Bob.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. And talk about the defense. UConn held Quinnipiac to 28% shooting from the floor. Back to wrap things up right after this. 82-49 the final. UConn has defeated Quinnipiac for the 9th time in 9 career meetings. Bob Picozzi along with Ron Perry back at the Civic Center. Dyson with the big 23-point game. And I think probably the most impressive thing, Ron, about UConn today was its defense. They didn't give the Bobcats very many good looks.
No, they were great on defense today, Bob. I thought the man-to-man early got them established. They played the zone very well. Didn't give up anything inside. A lot of tough contested shots. Controlled the boards. I thought really the combination of running today and their set offense, I thought that's as well as they've moved the ball. And I think Jim Calhoun felt that way after the game, too.
And if anyone is planning on throwing a zone against UConn for the rest of the season, beware, they attacked it pretty well after struggling maybe the first couple of possessions of the game.
Thought they did. I thought they got a nice combination of outside shooting, which they will need with Dyson and Stanley Robinson and Wiggins, and also did a nice job to attack inside. They'll need that, especially in league play with Adrian and Thabit converting down low. I thought Robinson had a pretty solid game today.
So UConn has 2 non-conference games left before getting into Big East play. They have Maine next Saturday here at the Hartford Civic Center, and then a road date against the University of Central Florida in Orlando. Then before you know, in Big East play, beginning with Seton Hall on the road.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough conference this year. Always balanced, always difficult, and I think UConn is starting to play better and better. They had a good one here today, played hard, and they'll need that kind of team effort when they get into the heart of that Big East schedule.
UConn 7-2, Quinnipiac 4-5. The final score, UConn 82 and Quinnipiac 49. For Ron Perry and our entire ESPN Plus crew, I'm Bob Picozzi saying so long from the Hartford Civic Center. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from Hartford, where UConn beats Quinnipiac 82-49.